All right, everyone. So thank you for coming out for our 2017 showcase. I know the students and staff and faculty and everyone on site is very happy to have you here tonight. The night is very important to us, not only to illustrate what the students have been working on over the course of the year and to talk about future career direction and projects that may be available to you in the past, whether you're a repeat client or if you're looking to reconnect with us. But with that, we have a full evening ahead, including bar and barbecue at 5 o'clock. So we're feeding you all. You'll all have drinks at 5 o'clock. That's why those fancy drink tickets are in your hand. But before we kick things off tonight, we're going to have a few welcoming remarks from the director of the master's program, Dr. Richard Smith.
Thank you, Dennis. So good afternoon, everyone. I have very short remarks. First is to thank the faculty and the staff who really made this possible. And number two, introduce the students who are an amazing group of people. They're mostly back in this area, but you'll see them all over the building. And my desire, I guess, is to convey to you what an incredible group of people they are and why they're so incredible. And I think it's partly because they come here with a vision, a mission. They want to change the world. They become really good listeners in their work on projects and really hearing your industry problems and trying to solve them. And then they take their natural inclination and their fundamental desire to change the world by making things, and they turn that into a transformational experience for themselves and each other and the world. So our students are taking who they are and what they've learned and making things to make the world a better place. And those are the kind of people that you're going to meet tonight when you go out and see the projects and stuff, and I encourage you to, talk deeply with them. They are really fantastic class of people and have done some great stuff. And I just want to hand it off now to the president of Great Northern Way, Catherine Warren.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks so much. I see I've been given a chair, but I don't think I'll use it. Welcome to your Center for Digital Media District. And while I may be new to the role of president, like many of you within the industry, I've been attending the CDM showcase for many years as a highlight of Vancouver's digital media calendar. And it's great to see so many colleagues and friends out to celebrate and to anticipate being wowed by our talented master's students throughout the evening. We respectfully wish to acknowledge that the land where we gather is the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular, the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations. And I'm grateful for what they teach us about living in connection with the land. The Center for Digital Media District is a place designed for people to come together, to collaborate across technology and the arts, and really to break new ground. And as we build the district together, and I'm sure you'll see that we are very much under construction, we have the opportunity to position Vancouver for digital leadership and to tell Vancouver's stories through a digital lens. The next 10 years will see tremendous growth of digital districts in great cities around the world. So please stick with us as we continue to build Vancouver's own Center for Digital Media District and transform our own great city as a result. This year, we have students from 19 countries who bring international expertise and ideas to our diverse West Coast. And our industry partners look to them for today's hottest business traits. I would say teamwork and problem solving. I'm sure you can think of many others. And supporting our students are the committed faculty and staff who provide the encouragement and the infrastructure to let digital breakthroughs happen and let digital freak flags fly. So thank you, team. And when it comes to our showcase, there's one person who brings our community together year after year, who builds our digital outreach. That person is Dennis Chenard. Dennis, with this year's showcase, you have surpassed yourself, and we are the lucky beneficiaries of your commitment and vision. To all of our guests, please enjoy your evening here. And to our students, thank you. Thank you so much for inspiring us all.
Thank you, Catherine. So yeah, with this course of the evening, we're going to have a chance to show you a lot of ways that we can support your businesses, not only through the talent connections, and we have a very talented group of students in this room. And I want to cover off some of the logistical items for the questions that I often receive when it comes to these talent connections. Our master's students cover all the bases. So we've got technical students, so the computer science and engineers in the room. We've got artists who can cover your 3D modeling to your 2D artworks. We have game designers. We have programmer or producer project managers. So we've got everything from the technical, the art and design covered. I want to say thank you to Kalina, who created a map of the layout in the hangar that helps define the different students that are going to be on display tonight. So if you haven't, thank you, Kalina. All right, so the map will give you a little sense of what the students do by disciplines. We have that mix of the technical, art, design, producer, talent within the room. They also all have valid work visas, because the other thing you'll see is that these students are coming from all over the world, and I know many of your companies are looking at, well, how do I keep these people? Well, anyway, no concern here, folks. They're covered. So as part of our master's program, these students that spend a very intensive year with us working on your problems and learning about the techniques that our digital media community is solving, they're really looking to connect with you tonight, not only to say, hey, do you please have a job for me? That's not what it's about. You might hear it once or twice, maybe. But anyway, so it's not about that. It's the advice, connections, albeit if you do have interest in anybody, have those conversations, but this is truly a networking night and we want you to enjoy it. I am gonna pass it over to the students because that is what this show is all about. So I can say anything I want about how great they are or how amazing this program can be for helping you solve problems and do projects with us or hire students, but I want you to hear it from the students themselves. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Vidi and Thomas.
So again, welcome. Thank you very much for coming. We have a lot of cool stuff to show you today. We're very excited. I'm Thomas from France. I'm a project manager, and here's Vidi Shah, game designer and producer from India.
Thank you, Thomas. Hi, my name is Vidi, and I'm a student from India that moved here.
Okay, we're gonna try to improvise here, yeah.
But now?
Yeah.
That's all right. That's who a whole lot of us used to be before we moved here a year ago. We were designers, producers, programmers, but that was kind of it. The CDM here has forced us to be more than that. Complete digital designers and developers for today. People who can come up with ideas, pitch them, and lead teams. But this transformation didn't happen overnight, at least not for me. What about you, Thomas?
It didn't. It actually took a while. And it was quite hellish at times, to be honest. It all started back in September last year with a 48-hour design jam, which was really intense. And that led on to a series of rather interesting improv classes with our friend Patrick right here.
Sorry, can I just say one thing? I didn't fully understand the point of improv classes in a design school such as this one, but I mean, I get it now. Look at us. We're standing here in a room full of people. I will say this is a bit daunting, though there's a lot of you, and I'm definitely not crumbling on the inside, so how good were those classes?
Those classes actually helped a lot. They helped us better communicate, better collaborate in teams, better present in front of our own peers every week for our weekly retrospectives, our weekly demos. And they also prepared us to work on real projects with real people, real clients, just like you. And you, too, yeah.
But sometimes they got a little too real. I mean, we had a lot of problems to solve, a lot of hurdles to overcome, but I think that's important. That's what helps you grow and become better, more well-rounded. Here, we got to pick our own paths while doing the same. Some of us came here to master our skills and become better at what we were already doing. A whole lot of us came here to change careers and move into new fields. And a small group, like myself, have come here to start our own companies and create our own product and go out there in the world. But instead of us talking to you more about these paths and journeys, how about you go on your own tonight? So without further ado, I will hand over to Jeanette Kopak, who will be your host for the rest of the evening. And thank you again very much for coming.
Thank you, Vidi and Thomas. So yes, just over 10 months ago, 51 students from around the world sat in this room looking slightly terrified and excited. Not many countries represented, many cultures represented, many backgrounds represented, and they had no idea what was in store for them. And like Vidi showed you, they were reading off their notes. They didn't really know what was going to happen. So what do? We basically crowd surf on the first day. So they actually learn trust, and they learn to be supported, and they learn about the team. And then to make life really interesting, we take away their first weekend in Vancouver, and we stick them in this building and in the hangar. And for 48 hours, they actually were given a task to, as a design brief for a children's museum, to build an interactive educational piece on the solar system and space. So without further ado, here is SoundGrid.
You might have heard many different kinds of sounds in your lifetime. But have you heard any sounds from the space? Probably not, because you're often told that there is no sound in space because there is no propagating medium. But in our first term, we were able to find out that indeed there is sound in space. It's just that we humans are not equipped enough to listen to those frequencies. Let me show you a quick demo. To enable this, we created a digital exhibit called the SoundGrid. Good evening, everyone. With VR Team SoundGrid, we have Reno, Jims, Allison, Manny, Ling, Karina, and me, Yash. So I'll now pass over the presentation to Reno to talk about our takeoff point.
Thanks, Yash. So as Jeanette was saying, we started SoundGrid during the design jam where we were tasked to make an interactive exhibit for a children's museum about space. We chose the topic sounds in space because it was interesting and unique for us. And so we built this prototype called the Sound Scope. And the idea behind it was you could use the scope to point at objects in space, and then with the click of a button you get to access its basic information, as well as its sound that we got from the NASA library. So when we displayed it in the design jam, we had a lot of mostly positive feedback about it, but it also inspired us to continue iterating to make it more immersive and interactive.
In each iteration, we're trying to explore the potential of planet sound. For example, at beginning stage, we had an ambitious plan about combining the planet information in the front stage and the sound visualization in the side view, the LED light matrix on the top of the ceiling. We also did some research in Science Museum, and we designed to provide scientific takeaway with interesting information in our product.
Then we started testing the technology. We made a 3x3 grid on the floor in the project room and hung a Kinect on the ceiling to detect people's movement. So humans' movement and position is the input in our sound grid.
We also try to combine music with planet sound. After some user tests, it's true that most of our users enjoy the fun part, which is to step on the grid and create music with planet sound. But it's also very true that none of our users can realize that there's an educational purpose behind it. So since this product is built with an educational purpose, we realized it's not enough to only have the fun part. We need to deliver our message, which is to educate people about sounds of space and inspire them. That's why we kept iterating on this product.
During our final user testing in the hangar, we installed one Kinect and two projectors to test both the floor and the front screen design. And this is 3x3 grid floor design. And this is floor design as always planned when the start grid is triggered.
And this is one of the version of front screen design. And this is the final version of front screen. What we believe was one of the greatest takeaways from this project was the importance of not straying away from the core idea and keep on iterating on it until we reach it. We believe that SoundGrid is the perfect example of how we can merge different technologies to create a very unique experience that not only fits perfectly in science museums and digital media exhibitions, but also serves as a template for innovative digital installations. So you can watch a video to show how it works. If you would like to find out more about this project, please come find any of us in the hangar. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was just one of dozens of projects that they did in the first term last year. This was for Projects 1, as we call it, and they did multiple projects in Projects 1, and you can all see them in the hangar. If we showed you all the projects, we would be here all night. But this is just a teaser. Then they start Term 2. Term 2, we actually work with partners, industry partners. Sometimes we call them clients, but they're really partners in the education of our system. And one of the reasons why we do this showcase for you is to show you the wide variety of projects that we do, and everything from healthcare to games to tractor factories. So on that note, I will welcome our first team, which is, actually, no, I blew at you guys. Oh, God. I want to talk about Visual Story. Visual Story is the only course they take in the first term. In the first term, in the second term. In the second term, they take Visual Story and they take Projects 2, which is the client project. Projects 2 is 12 credits, which is the equivalent of a master's thesis, and Visual Story is a 3-credit course they take on top of it. It's actually a very, very heavy-duty term. God, my brain is not working this afternoon, in January. It's a very heavy term in January to April. Can you tell I've been working all day? I'm going to welcome our first Visual Story, Prima Facie.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We are Team 361, and our project is called Prima Facie. As Jeanette said, it was made in the context of a visual story class, and it's an interactive virtual reality experience for the HTC Vive. So it was also presented at the Consumer Virtual Reality Convention, and it was selected in the SIGGRAVIT Student Exhibit 2017. So let's start with the team. I'm Maria Herrera.
And I'm Brooke Waddington. Now, before we dive in, yes, louder. Before we dive in, I want to give you a little bit of background on Prima Facie. So this is a sci-fi virtual reality experience set in a dystopic future. The value of a human life has been reduced to a number. Now, to find this number, an advanced technology has been created, which allows players to view the memories of others. Players will be witness to pivotal moments of hope, despair, love, and violence. What we're about to show you is just a small part of the entire immersive world that you can explore in virtual reality. Ladies and gentlemen, Prima Facie.
Good morning, Doctor. Your subject today is Mr. Alex Robinson. Relax and go through the door. May only worthy minds prevail.
So first, let me talk to you quickly about the structure of our experience. Everything that you saw in that trailer was just a small part of what our users can explore. We wanted to make sure that every single user followed a unique path through Prima Facie. So we created a branching structure and then applied randomization every time we offered them any decision. Here, you could see a ridiculous graph that shows just 5 minutes of how we plotted out just 5 minutes of our experience. But don't worry, we don't expect any of you to actually read a slide this boring. So in order to create an experience that was this complex, we needed a pipeline that allowed us to work together as efficiently as possible. To do this, first we started by grouping together and planning out our main character's life story, and then imagining all the memories that would fill that life. Then we broke into smaller teams and started to assemble all the assets that we would need. Finally, after all that was done, all that we had left was to tackle the small task of creating all the development tools we needed and then putting everything into a project. One of the major tools that we needed to make all this possible was Google's Tilt Brush.
All right, now this video is a little sped up, but Tilt Brush is still a really, really fast piece of software. We were able to generate tons and tons of content, which is crucial for a branching narrative. There's lots of different paths within the story. We were able to focus on the details in the scene, which improved replayability for our users. Also, it's in VR, so we're already in the same environment that our end user will be in. We can prototype, iterate, review, and design much more quickly and accurately. There's less steps between us and the user.
To keep the players grounded in the world we had created around them, we had to make sure that their controls were easy to use and very subtle. Without controllers, using only their eyes, they were able to influence the environment, walking through doorways, selecting memories, and activating videos inside the memories. Those were some of the interactions. We created an immersive VR experience featuring more than 140 created common videos with 12 unique memories or environments, 5 different outcomes. If you are interested in this project, you can reach us in a hangar and we can talk more about it. Thank you very much for your attention. This is Prima Facie.
Thanks. So one of the things we encourage our students to do here is make mistakes. So as you notice, I made a few mistakes in my intro of Prima Facie. So I learned from that mistake, which is what we try to get our students to do. So I have a note. So now we can talk about our digital partners, our partners in, I like to say, our partners in creating wonderful things. And one of the great projects that we worked on last term was a healthcare project with the Digital Health Hub out at SFU. So Vibes, take it away.
So good day. This is Team Vibes, and today we're going to present you our project that we have done for Digital Health Hub. Digital Health Hub is a company that produces innovative, creative health solutions together in association with the city of Surrey and Simon Fraser University. And let me introduce our amazing team. So Sandy was our programmer and also musician. Emily was our only artist on the team. Kowei is our experienced UX designer. Jashin is our UBC programmer. Sandeep is our game designer and programmer. And myself, I am Anna. I was project manager. So our challenge was to create a very fun and exciting game for users between 15 to 25 years old who suffer from mild to moderate depression and are going through the treatment with therapists. This game was supposed to help them have a treatment at home. And this project was very unique because we had a lot of constraints that we have dealt with and that sometimes are very difficult to match with game design criteria. So first of all, our users were supposed to have 5 different trainings within the 10 minutes of gameplay and retain in a game for at least 30 days. Then our users were constantly involved into the decision-making process, and they could not have a fail condition. And finally, we had a limited access to people with mild to moderate depression, so we had hard time to test our assumptions.
So, in order to deal with those constraints, we came up with the following solutions. We initially created 5 different mini games, which incorporated all the 5 different musical exercises. Secondly, we also created a 6th game mode, which acted as a reward system for the players, and also motivated them to come back to this app. And thirdly and finally, in order to initiate the decision-making process from the player, we replaced the visual cues into auditory cues. Now we are going to show you the game flow of our app. So this is the initial title screen of our app, which we kept as clean and minimalistic as possible. This is the level select screen. And this is the mini game selection screen, where a player can choose each mini game. For this particular mini game, a player's objective is to match the 2 birds of the same sound. Once they successfully find out the 2 birds of the same sound, the birds flies from the sky towards the tree. And hence, the whole objective of this game is to move the bird into the tree.
So in addition to this, we have also created a level 20 of this game. So let's listen to the sound. So as you probably hear, it's very difficult to understand the difference between the sound. And the only person who could do this was Sandy, because he has a musical education. And when we first tried to play this game, we could not understand the difference. And our play testers also could not do this. So we considered that it was too hard for them. However, through our constant testing, playing this game, after 1 month, we realized that we started feeling this difference, and we basically proved that the patent from our client actually works, and it does improve inhibitory control. So the game that you have seen was a musical ear training, and its look and feel is very gorgeous. However, we also had other 4 mini games, and due to our time constraints, we could not create the same look and feel for them. However, we created 4 low-fidelity prototypes that served as a working software, and we believe that it will simplify significantly the process of further development of this game for external team. So thank you very much, and we have a lot more to say you. However, again, due to time constraints, we cannot do this right now. So these are our team members. Please come to us in the hangar, and we will be able to show you this game on mobile, and you can even play with this. Thank you.
So that was just one. We actually did 12 projects from January to April. We're only going to show you, I think, maybe 6 or 8. I can't remember how many we're showing you. But they come from a very wide variety of subjects. We were really excited to get a proposal from Firepoint to do something with space, because we put these poor students through the 48-hour design jam, and they learned so much about space. So we were really happy that we got to put together a VR space experience. Over to Planet Creator.
Hey everyone, we are Team Redshift, and we're going to share with you our virtual reality Planet Creator experience. Before we go any further, let's introduce the squadron. I'm Clayton Hebenick. I was the UX and user interface designer on the project.
I'm Maria Herrera. I was project managing, doing animations, and also sound design.
I'm Steven Wong. I'm doing Unity development and also visual arts.
I'm Qin Yanling. I was a 3D artist and generalist.
Missing today from our team is our UBC programmer, Muse Yen. Our faculty advisor was Patrick Pennefather. And our industry partner on this was Firepoint Interactive, as Jeanette mentioned, specifically Joe Bonar. So I'll turn it over to Maria to tell you a little bit more about the project.
So Firepoint came to us with a mission, and it was to create a virtual reality game about astronomy that would be also very fun and engaging. So this was quite a challenge because sometimes education and fun do not get along so well, and we also had to consider the VR capabilities of the HTC Vive. So after an ideation process, we came up with the Planet Creator. We draw inspiration from the early stages of the solar system, in which everything's chaos. There are asteroids surrounding the sun, rich in elements, and they have to collide within each other in order to form different planets. So we are giving the user in our game that same power to create planets by throwing asteroids and mixing elements together.
So at the very center of this experience is a big ball of rock and lava that we call a protoplanet. And surrounding it are platforms you can jump between with the elements, such as nitrogen and hydrogen, that you combine into creating planets. So to show you what this looks like in virtual reality, we have a short little video. So players begin on a space station platform with different screens showing some important information, such as the planets they've created, how to play, and they can orient themselves with the controls and learn how to teleport, which is very important to the game. So once they teleport, they can jump to another platform where they find elements like oxygen, and they can pick these up and physically throw them at the protoplanet. Once they've thrown 3 different elements, this creates a combination which triggers an animation simulating the passage of time and the combination or the collision of asteroids into the formation of a planet. So once they see which planet they've created, they can jump back and see the information about it in detail, as well as other planets they've made. And we've spent a lot of time refining the details of this experience, everything from sound design, animation, and physics, to create a dynamic and interesting world with collisions, explosions, asteroids that rumble, and cool gameplay dynamics like playing catch by yourself between platforms. So we feel like this created a very immersive and interactive world where players can learn by doing. So over the course of the project, we faced a lot of new and interesting challenges, both technical and design related. As the user experience designer, I worked with the team to create prototypes, conduct frequent user testing, and relied on everyone's expertise to solve problems, make sure the experience remained true to its core vision.
As the artist in the team, I defined our art style as stylish, cool, low-poly style. In the process, we keep polishing our 3D objects, environment art, lighting, and skybox. So as you can see from the first picture to the last one, the whole look and feel is becoming more dreamlike, peaceful, and clean.
As theme programmer, one of the most important things that I work on is to design visual effects and program real-time generated effects depending on the player actions. And this may help me to make a connection between art and technology in the experience.
So this was a Planet Creator. We had lots of fun doing it, and we think it was successful in combining both education and the fun elements, because throwing things in VR is pretty fun. So we want to thank everybody that was part of this process, CDM, Joe, Patrick, Riley, our mentor, Muse, and Brooke for his voice, and all our amazing playtesters. So thank you, everybody. And if you want to talk about this project later, we're going to be in the hangar, and just look for the Planet Creator logo. Thank you.
So we're very fortunate to have many repeat partners in projects. And our next project team actually is our second project with PCI. So as you notice, there's lots of construction going on at Great Northern Way. And PCI is one of major, what are they, contractors, I guess. It's our second project with them, and they did an amazing job. So over to the PCI team. Where are they?
Hello everyone, we are Team Arch. My name is Reina, I'm the designer in this team. He is Thomas, he is project manager. Let us share one of the most successful industry project stories with you. This is a photo of our team that was taken with our client Andrew, CEO of PCI, Christina, the project lead, and also our advisor Larry, during our final presentation in PCI Sport Room. PCI is a real estate developer and investor based in Metro Vancouver and is currently undertaking some developments on Great Northern Way. Thomas will talk more about our project.
Thank you, Rina. So our project had a very local focus. It focused on this area, Great Northern Way. That's the highlight right here. We are currently in the Center for Digital Media, which is here. And you might have noticed, if you're unfamiliar with the neighborhood, you might have noticed this building right in front of the building. That's the new PCI building, which is being built. And so basically PCI is trying to create a creative community around the Center for Digital Media. And it's in that context that they came to us to create an interactive experience to provide their audience with, to create an innovative solution to provide their audience with an interactive experience to understand the area's potential and showcase the vibrancy and dynamism of the area to their audience. So the rest of the team will tell you more about the product.
Okay. Hi, my name is Iris, this is Ling, and this is Jessie. We were the programmers for this team. So the setup is a tablet that's connected to a larger screen. The user can interact with the application through the tablet. Others can watch what's going on the larger screen, and they can make suggestions for the user. So this is the main screen for our application. What it basically is an interactive app that simulates people flow based on the amenities that the user can add and remove from the map.
And the colored moving dots represent different kinds of people. For instance, the blue dots are office workers, and the orange dots are students, and so on. And the blue outline on the Great Northern Way area are the customizable buildings. And the 5 icon box below represent 5 different kinds of amenities user can choose. And the user can drag and drop each icon into the customizable building to add the amenity to that building.
When an amenity is added to the building, you will see little dots coming in and out. This represents people moving around. So for example, if you add one of the light blue icons, which is an office, you will see the small little blue dots coming from the SkyTrain station, going into the building to say that they are coming to work, or they might go to lunch, going to a retail area, and so on. The level of flow in the area actually depends on what kind of users you add. So for example, if someone wants to add all offices to the area, the level of flow is not going to be as high as if you add a mix of users. This is because there is not enough amenities like residential or retail restaurants and so on to support the workers. So they can just go to office to home and back to office again. Yeah. So there's also this button called PCI's Vision at the bottom. And when the user click on this, they will see the ideal version of what PCI thinks is the best for the area. This has a very good mix of users, so it allows people to mingle together and creating a very vibrant and very colorful place. Yeah. So the aim of this app is to let people to play around with it and kind of like realize the vision for themselves, and it creates a lasting impression of PCI's vision. So we are very proud of what we have delivered and what we have created, and we are also very happy that our client gave us a good evaluation for the project. So if you want to try it out, we do have the tablet available in a hangar. Yes, and most of our team members will be near the bar, so come and find us. Yeah, thanks everyone.
I think they learned about strategic placement, so that's why they're next to the bar. So as you saw from the PCI demo, this used to be a tractor factory. This was Finning's tractor factory, the big Caterpillar tractors. The 577 building, the only remaining standing, I guess the Monty Clark Gallery and the Equinox Gallery are the only two remaining buildings from that tractor factory. The 577 was a paint shop. So we were really, really excited this term to actually, or last term, to actually do a project with Finning's Digital. We found it came full circle. We actually get to work with the tractors that used to be made here, or actually the tractor factory that used to be made here. So over to Finning's.
In 2016, heavy equipment operators spent 2 million hours running their equipment on idle, consuming diesel and polluting the environment for no reason. Finning Digital, a part of Finning International, which is one of the biggest dealers of Caterpillar equipment worldwide, tasked us to change that behavior with a digital solution. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Team Ground 6. We have Manny, who is the UX designer, Marco, who is the project manager and the game designer, Annie and me, Yash, we are the UI designers, Vivek, who is the front-end programmer. Up here, not on stage with us, are John, our back-end programmer from UBC, Richard Smith, our faculty advisor, and Spencer Westlake, the representative from Finning. I'll now pass over the presentation to Manny, who will talk about who and what exactly we designed.
Thank you, Yash. So targeted on the heavy equipment operators who are having a lot of trouble of reducing idle time and saving fuel costs, we decided to create a gamified mobile application that coaches them on how to reduce idle time and therefore lower carbon footprint. But who are they? Who are these operators? Well, after tons of research, we create our persona, George Winger. So George is a 30-year-old man who's familiar with mobile applications. He's a casual gamer, so he knows the basic concept of games. He's motivated to work harder and willing to take chances to be better. He's not the kind of guy who is super experienced but happen to be not familiar with mobile applications at all. So this is our persona, George Winger.
So it became the goal of this project to alter the behavior of the operators and help them form new work habits that could cause an impact in reducing idling hours. So we gamified the coaching process so that it becomes easy and non-commanding. As you see, the core loop of the gamification process is the operator sees his performance, gets feedback on it, and if he wants to improve, he's going to use the goals and tips that we provide. So the entire performance of the operator is being subdivided into tasks, and we track his every move. And thus, we create a gamified user experience by adding elements like missions, rewards, levels, etc. For example, if he's going to change his idling depending upon the weather and the mission that he's working, he will be rewarded more. Whereas if he's going to idle, he will be rewarded less. In this way, we gamified his whole workday.
So I hope you're excited to see how the app looks like. Now I'm gonna walk you through each screen. First, imagine you're George Winger. After day's work, you open this app. The first thing you can get is daily bonus through the quiz and the spinning wheel, which serve as gamification to hook the operators to come back to our app on a daily basis. Then if you go to the home screen, you can see profile details, and today's performance tells you how well you've performed today, and the progression bar telling you how much more coins you need to earn in order to redeem your target reward. If you go to the performance screen, you can see all the detailed information from the home screen, like this level progression bar and next missions. You can also get feedback based on 4 categories, so as to improve your performance accordingly. If you click on next missions, you can go to next mission screen to see a list of all the missions you will go through. So if you go to the rewards screen, you can use your hard-earned coins to redeem some rewards, either physical ones like this nice cat backpack, or some virtual ones like some cat wallpapers. So if you go to the Me screen, you can change your machine and compare your performance with your coworkers and friends. For now, these features are still in development, but we believe they are of great value. So basically, these are all our features and the screens. I hope you all like it.
Now, what you just saw is actually
it was built in 6 weeks, but we believe has actually quite big potential. First of all, the data that our app would generate would help our client, Finning, to predict the behavior of operators, their machines, and therefore their customers. Now, we know that this app will never replace proper training for heavy equipment operators, but it could definitely ensure that they idle less. For companies, this means fuel savings and less emission tax. For example, if we look at a given Albertan mining company and we reduce their idling by just 15% that we estimated, the company would save over 1.1 million Canadian dollars per year. And if we apply that to the whole industry, we'd look into completely avoiding 300,000 hours of unnecessary idling just like that. And we all believe that's pretty cool. So all these reasons led us to believe that our proof of concept could make the heavy equipment industry greener, more profitable, and it's also the reason why our client wants to move forward with this idea. Thank you very much for listening to us today. If you have any questions or whatever, come and chat with us in the hangar. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to point out a couple of, you may have noticed we have UBC and SFU programmers in some of our team. One of the great benefits of actually being owned by 4 universities and having our degree given out by 4 universities is we have close ties to both SFU, well actually to all 4 universities, but SFU and UBC have a great relationship with us and top off our teams with developers. And for all of those who are looking for staff right now, you know developers are in high demand. So we're always really happy to top our teams up with developers from UBC and SFU. So we love working with machines. We have a director of a program who absolutely loves cars and loves machines. And we were really fortunate this year to actually have one of our partners from MyTax bring a really cool project to us with Mercedes-Benz. It's a marquee name, and it's a very, very cool project. So over to Marquis. Oh, Marquis. Over to Mercedes.
Hi everyone, we are Team Meche, and we're going to be talking to you about the touch table installation we made for Mercedes-Benz Canada. We'll start by introducing ourselves. My name is Sarah, and I was a developer on the team.
Hi, my name is Rahul, and I was a developer and an artist on the team.
Hi, my name is Nina, and I was working as an artist.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and I was a UX designer on the team.
My name is Anthony Duffy. I was the project manager for the team.
So now I'll explain what our challenge was. So our client, Mercedes-Benz Canada, asked us to create a digital exhibit that would be fun and interactive and would provide a multi-user experience. The digital piece would be used as a centerpiece for the exhibit, and it would be for Mercedes-Benz's exhibit in the German pavilion for the Canada 150 celebrations in Ottawa this summer. The theme of the exhibit is Partners from Immigration to Innovation, and it's meant to showcase Mercedes-Benz's collaboration with Canada to make technological advances.
As a team, we were very excited about this challenge. Not only were we working with a major global brand, but we were also building something to celebrate an important historic event for the country we are all very lucky to call home. Our final solution was to design and develop an application for a 65-inch multi-touch table. This touch table is being displayed right now in the Byward Market in Ottawa. One of the key features of our touch table is the fact that it features multiple interactive nodes that are interconnected through their storylines. In these nodes, we highlight the role of Mercedes-Benz in Canada, both in the past and in the present, with its F-Cell division here in BC, where they are developing fuel cell technology. To explain to the public why these eco-friendly automotive technologies are relevant, we bring in the issue of climate change. And we also highlight the role of Mercedes-Benz collaborating with Canadian partners to innovate.
The project lasted about 13 weeks, and this can be roughly divided into 3 phases. The discovery phase, where we brainstormed a number of ideas, rapidly prototyped them, and narrowed it down to the touch table that is now at the Byward Market. This then led to the mid-fidelity phase, where we did a complete prototype of the complete experience from start to finish, and use that as a foundation from which we iterate and move into the high-fidelity phase to deliver the final complete product. As a small team of 5, we divided ourselves into 3 distinct pipelines: the art pipeline, the UX pipeline, and the development pipeline. With transparent communication, regular feedback, and lots of hard work, we managed to get where we are right now.
Like in any other project, we had challenges, or like we like to call them roadblocks. We were able to overcome them working as a team and communicating a lot with the client. Some of the challenges were having multiple stakeholders. We have to make sure that we were always on the same page. So we invested a lot of time communicating with them. Another challenge was pitching the idea and getting the hardware. We convinced the client to buy a 65-inch touch table to have interactive multi-user experience. And finally, the third challenge, we getting the hardware. Despite major delays in the delivery, we were successfully able to develop and test our application without the final hardware until the last week of the project when it came. This is a video of that's the final week of the project. We were able to test the application on this 65-inch touch table. We were really happy to see that everything was working and looked as we wanted. We are really proud that a CDM project, is now being used by thousands of people in Ottawa. If you want to know more about the project, reach to us in the hangar. Thank you very much for your time.
So this Saturday is Canada Day, and it's this will be actually unveiled, I think, on Saturday in the Byward Market in Ottawa. And Canada Day brings up memories of barbecues. So we're going to now show you an amazing game that was produced with the Bok Bok Labs. That's called Barbie.
Good afternoon. We're the Barbies, and today we'd like to give you a quick look at a project that we had the opportunity of working on over this past winter. But first, let me introduce you to the team. We have Brooke Waddington, Kalina Franz Hernandez, Marc-Antoine Desbiens, Yang Zhang, myself, Zachary Valenta, and Jason Bernhardt. We also had the opportunity of working closely with Mike Pareto and his team at Bok Bok Labs on their game Atomic Age, which is currently in development. Our team was tasked with adding to the engaging experience of Atomic Age. And we wanted to pull players further into the cartoony and outlandish world that they had created. To do this, we had to create a new character, Buddy the dog. We also, alongside Buddy the dog, we created a bunch of tools and dog toys that could be used with him.
Our client wanted a cartoony dog. So that would match the feel and the look of the Atomic Age. With feedback from our client and testers, we modeled and animated a goofy dog that felt like a part of the virtual world and encouraged player engagement. Now, please let me introduce you to our buddy.
Really nicely done. Ooh. Yes, very good. Come on, follow me, follow me. That's good, Ernie. That's good, Ernie. Now get in there. Yeah, get in there. Yes, I think I did it. Movie kids. Come on, buddy. Come on. Yes, good boy, good boy.
From the beginning, we knew we would have to teach the player how to communicate with Buddy. And we did this by designing simple, quick-to-read pictographs that would teach the player the basic actions of the dog while still leaving space for them to discover other emergent behavior. We designed the graphics referencing popular 1960s print styles, as well as toys like the Viewmaster to invoke a sense of nostalgia and wonderment.
So we tested many different kinds of interaction to allow the player to interact with the dog. But we found out that the most effective ones were combining voice, gesture, and pointing. So for example, the player just needs to point somewhere and say anything, and the dog will go there if the player has the dog's attention. We tried to keep every interaction as much simple as possible because we wanted the dog to feel natural and believable.
The tricks you saw Buddy performing in the video made him into a realistic companion with a ton of personality. And the players that were working with Buddy were immersed into the game. We also added in swarm behavior to the children so that Buddy could round them up. By pointing the show beam, which is like a laser pointer, you could have Buddy chase them around, and this ended up being a pretty important game element in Atomic Age.
And so, with animations, behaviors, gestures, voice controls, dog toys, it all came together to form the backbone of communication between the player and the dog, and Buddy was finally able to become the player's legs in Atomic Age and extend the sphere of influence of the player beyond the boundaries of the room that they were playing in. This was an experience that brought Buddy to life, and we wanted to share that with you today. We're the Barbies, and thank you for your time.
So now that you have your dog trained, you might want to take your dog for a walk around Vancouver. So our last industry project we're going to be showing you tonight is a project that we partnered with Microsoft on, Project Vango.
Hey everyone, would you mind if I do a quick activity with you? Okay. All right. So can you please raise your hand if you've seen or heard of the digital orca? Okay, so a lot of you raised your hands. Pretty popular piece here. A lot of tourists go and take pictures with it. And now what about Trans Am Totem? Okay, so a couple of you raised your hands. Maybe you haven't heard of it, but maybe you've seen it going by on the SkyTrain. Yeah, got more voices from that. And now what about Knife Edge two-piece? Okay, so virtually nobody raised their hand for that, but it's actually a pretty prominent work. There are several copies of this that exist in the world. One of them is owned by Rockefeller, another one's owned by the city of Vancouver, and it's here in Queen Elizabeth Park. So there's a lot of history and culture built around the public art here in Vancouver, but maybe the access to that knowledge isn't so easy to come by. And that's more what we want to be talking about today with Vango. So who are we? My name is Marina, and that's Krishna. We are the UX designers for this project. Yuhan and Wendy were our developers, and Reno and Lalo were our project managers. And we were presented this project by Microsoft. So you're probably wondering, what exactly is Vango? So Vango is an art app that treats the entire city of Vancouver as if it were an art museum. And through the exploration of public artworks, it unlocks new art knowledge as well as cultural experiences here within the city. So when we were presented this project by Microsoft, they actually had an existing prototype. And when they asked us to gamify the experience specifically. But when we played around with it, we saw that not all the features were working well together. So we had to take a step back and question, what is the core of this experience? We need to build a solid foundation. So we asked ourselves, who is the target user? For us, that ended up being local Vancouverites. What is the core experience? What can provide a cohesive and engaging experience for users? And what is the user motivation? So what can keep the users hooked to keep using this app?
So we really engulfed ourselves within the project, which means we engulfed ourselves within the city of Vancouver as a whole. Here you can see a photo of us. We printed out an entire map of Vancouver. The little red dots on this map are actually public artworks. And we had to question ourselves and think, how could we provide the most cohesive experience, whether there's 15 artworks within one block or 3 artworks within an entire neighborhood. And we tried to keep community engagement at every level of design, whether it was from colors to core features. And to speak more about how we did that, Christian is going to talk about some of that.
So Vancouver is a location-based, Vango is a location-based experience in which you make Vancouver your own personal museum by discovering its diverse artworks. What you see depends entirely on where you are, so you can't see artworks that are far away from you. Vancouver's prominent neighborhoods and communities are broken down into geographical areas known as zones. And in the center of each zone is an iconic artwork known as a key artwork. Visiting this unlocks all other artworks on the map within that zone. So the core experience of Vango revolves around discovering artworks, understanding the story behind them, and then moving on with your exploration. And so imagine you are having a nice Sunday off and you're walking down Davie Street towards Beach Avenue. You get a push notification saying that you're near a key artwork called Amazing Laughter. And since you're curious, you decide to tap on it, and you see some basic information, including a picture and the name of the artist. And if you're motivated, you would navigate to it, and when you get there, you get a pop-up telling you that you've unlocked the art piece, and you get a visualization of your map completion status, and that you've unlocked the zone and all other artworks within it. After which, you get to see a screen about the basic information about the artwork, including type and materials used. And you can also discover the story behind it and the artist statement if you wish to explore further, and also see a list of 5 cultural spaces around it. And if you're interested in moving on with your exploration, Vango recommends you the 5 closest artworks within that area, so you don't need to make an extra step to go back to the map. And after that, after testing our prototypes, we realized that user motivation was a key issue, and users needed incentives for why they needed to come back to the app. And to increase user motivation, we implemented a feature called map completion. And map completion is basically a visualization of how much of Vancouver's artworks you've discovered, as well as the number of zones you've unlocked. So that's a summary of the core experience of Vango. And apart from that, even though we were just restricted to 12 weeks in terms of project timeline, we did brainstorm some concepts and design them for the future of Vango. And one of them is community engagement. To increase community engagement, we implemented an in-game expendable currency known as Go Points, which you can use to redeem perks at local businesses, or even a ticket to an exclusive gallery opening. And another feature that we implemented is location-aware audio tours, which could be themed audio tours that go through a zone, that take the user through a zone, or could be also an audio tour for an event such as Mural Fest. And to close it off, Marina is going to just...
Yeah. So Krishna talked a little bit about the future, and speaking of the future, you can see any of us in the hangar to talk about the project. And if you're interested in Vango, you can check out the App Store in the future, because Microsoft told us it should be coming soon.
So that wraps up their second term. So our final team presentation is going to combine the first term and the third term together. This is our final term of a one-year intensive program. In the first term, students take game design, which there was no presentation from game design because we purposely left that for a team that actually pitched us on creating their own product and their own project and their own company. So our final project team is going to present a pitch project called Lure.
Hi everyone, it's me Vidhi from before. And before we end this part of the evening, I just wanted to talk to you about a project that we're working on. It's a puzzle platformer game for iOS. It's a game where you play as a monomagnet that's trying to reunite with its polar opposite lover. Because, you know, opposites attract. And this game has obstacles that you have to overcome, and there are other magnets. So you're either attracted to them or repulsed by them. Now, this game started off in semester 1, as Jeanette mentioned, in the game design project with Dave and Jason. And myself and a group of students got together, and we built a prototype to try and prove out that magnetism is an interesting mechanic that can potentially tell a love story or a good puzzle game. Now, we didn't get very far. We made about 3 levels. We didn't hit the romance that well, but we realized one thing. It was fun.
Since then, the 4 of us decided to keep working on the project, on the game, right? And we're working now as a pitch project. So we pitched this to a panel of industry professionals, and we got approved. And now we stand here as Candor Interactive. So taking up the project is myself, Rafa, the programmer, Vidi, our game designer, and our artists, Conrad and Karina. And right now, we're trying to prove the hypothesis that you can tell a story by just using mechanics. No cutscenes, just gameplay. So we're going to show you a video of our gameplay. Please enjoy the video and come play the game in the hangar. Thank you.
Thank you again, everyone. We are Candor Interactive. We'll be waiting in the hangar for you guys to come and play our game. And I'll hand over now to Parmita and Eduardo to close the night for you guys.
Wow, that was amazing, wasn't it? Thank you, Candor. Let's have another hand for all of our presenters and our hosts tonight, Jeanette, Dennis. Thank you so much. It's been an exciting year, hasn't it?
Actually, it has been an exciting year, and now that you mention it, it seems only like yesterday that we were here in this very same room, day 1, and we were just wondering how everything was gonna be like, and look at us now. We're already showcasing our projects to you. So yeah, amazing year. Well, by the way, I am Eduardo Romero. I'm a producer and also a student here at the CDM, and I'm from Mexico. Yes.
I'm Parmita. I'm from Vancouver. I'm a student here that's a producer and a product manager, and I'm also class president. And I want to thank you so much for coming out tonight, seeing what we've been up to this year. And as you've seen again and again, the Center for Digital Media is all about collaboration and transformation. This past year has represented a hero's journey worth of change and growth for our students and my friends and teammates who are creating their own paths and a way forward for the entire industry.
And actually, a key element of this transformation is that we're becoming actual learners, constant learners, permanent learners, always looking to improve and to find amazing and creative ways to solve problems.
Yeah, the presentations you saw were just a teaser of the amazing work and the brilliant people like Lalo you're going to hang out with tonight. And speaking of which, it's now time to grab a beer, a
burger, grab us some too. Come chat with us at the hangar.
Yeah, let's meet at the hangar. Talk to us. We're looking forward to get to know you and to talk about these and other projects that we've been working on. So let's go. Let's move to the hangar.
Thank you.
Thank you.